James Duthie, the TSN hockey analyst, sports broadcaster. How did you get to know him?
Yeah. So, when I was in high school, I was I loved playing sports. Unfortunately I wasn't ever good enough to do anything with sports in terms of, scholarship wise or other. And so I leaned into sports broadcasting and, potentially a career in front of the camera. I did a lot in high school leading up to, wanting to pursue broadcasting. I did a lot of acting. I was a part of an improv team. I was part of all the school plays. So the theater and kind of drama lifestyle was a big part of what I wanted to do. And in front of the camera just seemed like a lot of fun. I think like a lot of kids, you'd wake up and watch TSN Sports Center. And that was, again, a part of the fabric and DNA of, I think, a lot of people who were interested in sports. Wasn't like today where you could flip on your phone and get all your sports highlights and stats and scores. You had to watch, Sports Center or go get the newspaper, and I did both. And so, growing up and watching, newscasters like Duthie, was, just meant a lot to me. And so, one day I decided, I was going to apply for broadcasting school, and I really liked James Duthie, and blogging became a big part of the internet back then. And so they would always post their email addresses, and so I decided one day I was just going to email him, and I did that for 30 days straight, until
Well,
he
you were just cold emailing him for
cold
30
emailed
days
him.
straight.
Just cold emailed him for 30 days, and then one day he called me. I would always leave my phone number, and I was in grade 12, I think, and I had a cell phone. And he called me, and I was telling my friends about this. So I actually thought it was one of my friends that was prank calling me,
Mm.
pretending to be James Duthie. And I actually swore, I when he said it's James Duthie, and I said, F off. And he said, no, it's actually James Duthie, and I need you to stop emailing me. And then he laughed, and we had a kind of a laugh about it. And then he invited me down to the station, and I got to watch at the time they were doing a lot of work with the NHL back then, and they did a whole segment tied to, the NHL on TSN. So I got to sit through that, and then I watched and sat through a live sports center, and I got to meet, I think, Retta and Dutchy, and a bunch of the crew back then that were, sort of synonymous with broadcasting and growing up. And he was really great, and we stayed in touch for a little bit, and, which was awesome. But he gave me some really good advice just around the broadcasting and where it was going. And at that time, it wasn't just about being in front of the camera, which that's what I wanted to do. Was, what else are you bringing to the table that's going to set yourself apart from other people that are applying to be, a broadcaster, or get into programs that, serve broadcasting. And I realized, very early on, it was great advice. And I realized very early on, when I didn't get into any broadcasting schools, that, I probably should pad my resume before I reapply.